2018. A quick disclaimer for you, this is a list of free games. If you are looking for the paid games, we also do a list like that. It's already up. Check it out. There's some pretty good ones this month. Number 10 is Food Fantasy, which is a little bit different. It is a quote-unquote adventure management game, meaning it's kind of an adventure game, kind of a restaurant management game. It plays out in some ways a little bit like a monster collector, but not with, like, monsters. You collect food souls instead, and honestly, it's such a weird, offbeat approach to genre mixing that it works in more than one way, but one thing that's interesting about it is it feels so different. You've done some of these mechanics before, but I think combined and with the ideas of food in there, it's just a different game. It's fun. I like it when I see stuff that's creative and innovative, and this is a game that is very much like that. You can check it out on iOS and Android right now. Number 9 is Best Rally, a rally racing game that plays out from an isometric perspective. It's fully 3D, but the perspective really works to its advantage. It uses 2 fingers. It's got 30 courses that are really, really well done. It's a handcrafted game, not procedurally generated, and it's really pretty. It's really fun. It takes no time to learn, but you will be spending time mastering it. That's the best kind of racing game, in my opinion, especially when it goes out of its way just to be fun, and that's exactly what this is. Are you going to see something entirely new? Probably not, but when they put together something that just works on such a great level, not to say I don't ever want anything new, but a game that's just well above competent, like among the best examples of its genre, that's something I'm interested in. And this game is so confident in itself, they titled it Best Rally. I think it's probably actually that. Of this genre, it's probably the best. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's only available on iOS though. Fingers crossed at some point it comes to Android. Number 8 is Diamond Diaries Saga, which is kind of like a match 3 game if you didn't have the grid. It's more physics based, and I think that really brings an interesting aspect to it. It plays out a little more chaotic, even though it really isn't. It just feels a little more dynamic, and that's definitely appreciated. It's from the creators of Candy Crush, and honestly, I think it's better than Candy Crush. We've seen the mechanics in Candy Crush multiple times, but this, it brings something new to it, and to bring something new to this genre is very hard to do, and I have to say kudos to King for doing it. Diamond Diaries Saga is available on iOS and Android. Number 7 is Farista's Cat Cafe. If you were to name this a little more bluntly, it would be Cat Store Simulator. Basically, the idea is you adopt cats, match them with customers, and decorate your cafe. Essentially, the quirkiness is deafening. If any of this sounds like it's something you would like it. And if it sounds like something that will repel you, it will. It is exactly what it sounds like. And if you can keep that in mind going in, and you're the type of person that might like something like this, you will. In fact, I promise you will. But if you don't think that it's something you would like, you won't. You won't like it. Like I said, this game is exactly what it sounds like. Farista's Cat Cafe is out on iOS and Android. Number 6 is The Walking Dead Our World, a game in which you will Pokemon Go kill some zombies. Not quite. Obviously, if Pokemon Go hadn't happened, this game probably wouldn't have been made, but I'm actually going to go ahead and say I think that they've gone above and beyond and made something unique, or at least as unique as a new entry into this genre can be. It's kind of an FPS version of Pokemon Go. There's zombies, because it's The Walking Dead, obviously, and you have to explore the world and get rid of them, you know, shooting stuff, which is a little bit weird when you think about the fact that you're doing it in the quote-unquote real world, but hey, that's fine, whatever. It's a game, so the real question we should be asking is it fun? And yes, it actually is. I don't know how long it's going to last or how fun it will be for, but it's certainly a fresh take on the AR game currently, if a bit violent, and given the fact that augmented reality depends on actual reality, you're setting up an interesting debate, I think. But that doesn't change the fact that it's fun and interesting, and it looks good. The Walking Dead Our World is available on iOS and Android. Number 5 is Faraway 3 Arctic Escape, a room-oriented puzzle escape game that really has a unique look, and the look itself contributes very much to the puzzles. It's a gorgeous game. It takes place in the Arctic, obviously, and escaping is the main goal, again, obviously. But the way it puts all of these puzzles together in a, frankly, more than a little aesthetically pleasing fashion, and doesn't just give you a bunch of standard puzzles for that matter. It's actually innovative and creative on that front, which is good, to say the very least. Number 4 is Mayhem Combat, a platform combat game, which I'm calling a sort of brawler-esque game. Now, it's not a one-to-one remake of Super Smash Bros. Or anything like that, but there's a lot of interesting, different characters that do different types of things. There's traditional one-on-one, there's more free-for-all brawls, and there's also tag battles. It's a game that might look a little simplistic from the graphics because it tries to go for the Fortnite look and doesn't quite get there. There's a little bit of Team Fortress influence on the visuals as well, but if I'm honest, I don't think it matters. Mayhem Combat is on iOS and Android. Number 3 is Asphalt 9 Legends. This is a gorgeous 100% arcade racer. There's a lot of wild stuff in this game, and it comes off a lot more like Need for Speed than, say, a simulator. There's a couple of different ways of controlling it as well, which is very nice. There's a sort of touch control, and then there's pro controls, which operates more like a traditional game. And let's just go ahead and say this is really a gorgeous game. In every way, I really found this to be a fun arcade racer. Asphalt 9 Legends is out on iOS and Android. Number 2 is Shin Megami Tensei Liberation D×2, or Devil Downloader. It's essentially a new Shin Megami Tensei game. It has pretty much the classic gameplay. I'm not gonna say it's exact, but it's not gonna throw you for a loop if you've ever played a Shin Megami Tensei game. Essentially, the intention is to summon and command demons, and it has an absolutely whacked out plot involving acolytes wiping out people with high empathy because empathy poses a threat to their goals and ideology. It's wild. But it's got a great turn-based battle system. It's a really fun JRPG. It looks great. It's got augmented reality, and in a lot of ways, it's everything you might expect from a smartphone Shin Megami Tensei game. And it is out on iOS and Android now. And finally, number 1 is Identity V, possibly one of the more interesting mobile multiplayer games you're gonna see, period. It's a game that combines several different types of games. A, it's a narrative game. B, it's an asymmetrical 4 versus 1 multiplayer game. You can be either a hunter or survivor. It plays out a lot like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, but it's actually progressing a story, which is super interesting. Also, let's just go ahead and say this, it looks really, really good. It has got an interesting, novel visual style that kind of seems reminiscent of maybe a Tim Burton or one of the movie studios that came out of his movie studio, but it's definitely something you need to try out. It's really, really different, but really easy to pick up and play. Identity V is on iOS and Android, and a couple of bonus games for you. First is Love Island, the game. It is a goofy reality show simulator, and if that turns you off, there's probably a good reason for it, but if you like that type of game, it's certainly a good example of it. Hide Online, which is a multiplayer action shooter hide and seek game in which you essentially can hide as a prop in basically any area. It's a pretty clever idea. Brawl Stars, which is actually not a Smash Brothers type game. It's more in the wheelhouse of a Clash Royale, but it's certainly more tower defense-y. It's by the people who make those games, so keep that in mind. It works out pretty well. And finally, Alto's Odyssey, which is just a phenomenal game. Gorgeous, pretty, and something I was very much hoping would come out to the Android platform. Anyway, what did you play this month? Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. If you like this video, click like. And if you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon.